6 months passed quickly. Vexithar spent this time watching the humans from a small cloaked ship near Mars. He learned their languages. He studied their military. He watched their news and entertainment. The more he learned, the more worried he became. On the day the main fleet arrived at the edge of the solar system, Vexithar sent one last message to the Imperial Council. "I beg you to reconsider," he wrote. "These humans are more ready for us than we thought. They have united their space forces. They have weapons we did not see before. This will not be easy." But his message was ignored. The fleet commander, Admiral Krell, sent him a short reply. "Your concerns are noted, General, but the Council has decided. Today we make first contact. Tomorrow this system belongs to the Empire." Vexithar watched from his hidden position as the massive Imperial ships moved into the solar system. There were 20 of them. Each one was the size of a small moon. They carried enough weapons to destroy all life on Earth if needed. As the ships passed Jupiter, they were met by a small group of human vessels. 5 ships, much smaller than the Imperial craft. They formed a line, blocking the path to Earth. Admiral Susan Miller stood on the bridge of the lead Earth ship. She was calm as she looked at the alien fleet on her screen. "Open a channel to the alien ships," she ordered. Her crew worked quickly. Soon, the face of Admiral Krell appeared on her screen. He looked like a large insect with blue skin and many eyes. "This is Admiral Susan Miller of the Earth United Fleet," she said. "You have entered our solar system without permission. State your purpose." Admiral Krell seemed surprised that the humans had contacted him first. He had expected fear, not this calm question. "I am Admiral Krell of the Galactic Hegemony," he replied. "We have come to offer your species a place in our empire. You will surrender your resources and accept our rule. In return, we will protect you and allow you to live." Susan Miller did not show any emotion. "That is not an offer we can accept, Admiral Krell. This system belongs to humanity. We are willing to discuss trade and peaceful relations, but we will not surrender our independence." From his hidden ship, Vexithar watched the exchange. He was impressed by the human admiral's calm, but he knew what would come next. The Empire never took no for an answer. Admiral Krell's voice became cold. "You misunderstand, human. This is not a negotiation. You will join us, or we will take what we want by force." At the United Nations on Earth, leaders from all nations watched the exchange. They had been preparing for this day ever since their long-range sensors had detected the alien fleet months ago. President Richard Brown stood before the gathered leaders. "We hope for peaceful first contact," he said. "But it seems these aliens want war. We must stand together now. All our differences mean nothing compared to this threat." The vote was unanimous. Earth would not surrender. Meanwhile, a team of human scientists worked frantically to understand the alien transmissions. Dr. Alan Ross, a language expert, noticed something strange. "The translation isn't right," he told his team. "They're changing certain words to sound more threatening. When they say protect, their original word was closer to control. When they say allow you to live, they really mean use you as labor." He decided to reveal this deception. During the next communication between Admiral Miller and the aliens, Dr. Ross broke into the transmission. "People of Earth," he said, "the aliens are lying to us. I've analyzed their language. They're hiding their true intentions. They don't want allies. They want slaves." Admiral Krell was furious when he heard this. "How dare you?" he shouted. "You were not meant to understand our language so quickly." On his hidden ship, Vexithar closed his eyes. The humans had seen through the deception faster than anyone expected. Now there was no chance for a peaceful solution. Admiral Krell gave the order to attack. The Imperial ships fired on the human defense platforms orbiting Mars. The massive energy beams should have destroyed them instantly. But something unexpected happened. The beams hit some kind of shield around the platforms. The humans had defense technology that wasn't in any Imperial report. "Impossible!" shouted Admiral Krell. "Their technology is too primitive for energy shields." Admiral Miller gave her own order: return fire. The 5 human ships launched missiles toward the Imperial fleet. The aliens laughed at first. Their shields were far too strong for such simple weapons, but these weren't simple missiles. As they approached the Imperial ships, they split into hundreds of smaller projectiles. Each one released an electromagnetic pulse when it hit the alien shields. The pulses didn't destroy the shields, but they created small gaps. Through these gaps, more powerful weapons fired. 2 of the Imperial ships were hit in critical areas. They didn't explode, but they lost power and drifted in space. Admiral Krell couldn't believe what he was seeing. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "No one has ever breached our shields before." On Earth, President Brown addressed the world again. "The aliens have attacked us without cause. They want our resources and our world. We will not give them either. As of today, Earth is at war." All across the planet, factories switched to making weapons and ships. Scientists shared their discoveries freely, no longer bound by national secrets. Soldiers from former enemy nations trained together. Humanity united against the common threat. Admiral Krell sent a message to the Imperial Council. "The humans are more dangerous than we thought. They have technology we didn't detect. They have weapons that can hurt our ships. We need reinforcements." On his hidden ship, Vexthar received a message from Ambassador Ziri. "The Council is sending more ships," she wrote. "They expect to crush all resistance within days. Was there nothing you could do to prevent this?" Vexthar replied, "I tried, but no one would listen. Now we will all pay the price for that mistake." He looked at the screens showing the battle around Mars. The humans were fighting better than he expected. They were using their smaller ships to draw the Imperial vessels apart, then attacking them one by one. "They understand warfare," he said to himself. "They know they can't match our power, so they use different tactics." As he watched, a group of small human fighters flew directly at one of the damaged Imperial ships. They were so small that the ship's defensive weapons couldn't target them effectively. They landed on the hull and cut their way inside. Within an hour, the humans had captured the entire ship. They had never seen this technology before, but they were already learning how to use it. Vexthar realized that the Council had made a terrible mistake. The humans weren't going to surrender. They weren't going to be easy to defeat. This war had only just begun, and it was already going very differently than anyone in the Empire had expected. General Vexthar walked slowly down the long hall of the Imperial Council. His blue skin looked even darker under the bright lights. The 17 council members watched him from their tall seats. Vexthar knew they did not want to hear what he had to say, but he had to try. "Most honored council members," he said, bowing his head, "I come to you today with important news about the humans." The High Chancellor Morax leaned forward. His 6 eyes blinked in sequence. "We already know about the humans, General. They are weak. Their planet is rich with resources we need." Vexthar shook his head. "No, High Chancellor. I believe we are making a mistake. The humans are not what we think." He touched a small device on his wrist. A large image appeared in the air above them. It showed the blue and green planet called Earth. "We have watched them for only 50 years. That is not enough time to understand them," said Vexthar. "They are young as a space-going people, yes, but they are not simple." He showed another image. This one was of human history. It showed their wars, their inventions, their quick rise from using horses to landing on their moon. In just 100 years, they went from basic flying machines to walking on their natural satellite. In 200 years, they went from simple steam power to fusion energy. No other species in our records has moved so quickly. Chancellor Morax waved his hand. "Speed does not equal strength, General. They are divided. They fight among themselves. They will fall easily." Vexthar nodded. "They do fight among themselves, but that is what makes them dangerous. They are always ready for war. And when they face an outside enemy, they unite quickly." He showed new images. Humans working together after natural disasters. Humans from enemy nations helping each other when in danger. "And there is something else," Vexthar said. He showed a recording from a human space station. There was a fire. A man named Frank Miller was hurt badly. He could have escaped. Instead, he went back into the fire to save 2 others. He died doing this. This behavior is common among them, explained Vexthar. They value the group over the individual. They will die for each other. They will die for ideas. This makes them unpredictable. Council member Zairi, a female with silver skin, spoke up. What are you suggesting, General, that we leave them alone? Their system has resources we need. Yes, said Vexithar. I am saying exactly that. Find another system. There are many. The humans will fight in ways we cannot predict, and they learn very quickly. The council members looked at each other. Some laughed quietly. General, said Morax, you have been in too many battles. You see danger where there is none. These humans have never met another intelligent species. They will be shocked. They will be scared. They will do what we tell them. They have thousands of stories about meeting aliens, Vexthar replied. Many of these stories are about fighting aliens. They have prepared their minds for this day, and they have spread to other planets already. Mars, their moon, the moons of their large gas planet. They are not contained on their home world. Another council member, Drav, spoke up. His voice was deep and slow. Our ships are far beyond theirs. Our weapons can destroy their cities from space. Why should we fear them? Vexthar sighed. He knew they were not listening, but he had to try, again. It is not their current technology that concerns me. It is how fast they adapt. Our reports show that they take in new ideas quickly. They solve problems in unusual ways, and they work well under pressure. He showed one more recording. This one was from a small human research base on Mars. There had been an accident. The air was leaking out. A woman named Lisa Carter found a way to fix the leak using only the items she had with her. It was not the way any of their engineers would have solved it. It was strange, but effective. They think differently than we do, said Vexthar. That makes them hard to predict, hard to defeat. The council was quiet for a moment. Then Chancellor Morax stood up. Thank you for your report, General. The council will now vote on whether to proceed with the plan to take the human system. Vexthar watched as each member pressed a button on their seat. The votes appeared on a screen. 16 for proceeding with the plan, only 1 against, Ambassador Zairi. The vote is decided, said Morax. We will send ships to the human system in 6 cycles. They will be given the chance to surrender peacefully. If they refuse, we will take what we need by force. Vexithar bowed his head. As the council wishes, he said, though his heart felt heavy. May I make one final request? Speak, said Morax. Let me lead a small team to study them more before the main fleet arrives. Perhaps we can find a peaceful way to get what we need. Morax considered this. Very well. You have 5 cycles, but the fleet will launch as planned. Vexthar left the council chamber feeling defeated. In the hallway, Ambassador Zairi approached him. I believe you are right about the humans, she said quietly. But the council is hungry for new resources. They will not listen to warnings. Then they must learn the hard way, said Vexthar, and many will die. What will you do now? Asked Zairi. I will go to Earth's system. I will learn everything I can about them, and I will try to find a way to avoid this war. He looked at her with his large, sad eyes. Because if this war starts, I fear it will not end the way the council expects. As Vexthar walked away, he thought about the humans. They were strange creatures, small and soft compared to his people. But there was something in them that worried him. A fire, a will to survive that was stronger than anything he had seen in his long life. The council thought taking Earth would be easy. Vexithar knew better. And soon, he feared, the entire empire would learn just how dangerous humans could be when threatened. He would have 5 cycles, about 6 Earth months, to find a solution. After that, the empire would awaken a sleeping giant, and Vexthar did not think the empire was ready for what would follow. 3 months passed. The war had not gone as the empire planned. The Imperial Council met in an emergency session. The room was tense. Council members spoke in angry voices. How is this possible? demanded High Chancellor Morax. You said this would be over in days. Now 3 months have passed and we are losing ships. Admiral Krell stood before them, his head bowed. The humans are not what we expected, he said. They learn too quickly. They adapt to our weapons and tactics, and they never surrender even when defeat seems certain. Excuses, shouted Morax. I want results, not excuses. A quiet voice spoke from the back of the room. I warned you this would happen. Everyone turned. General Vexthar walked slowly toward the center of the room. He had been called back from retirement to help understand the mounting failures. You, Morax pointed at him. You claim to have warned us. Very well. Tell us what you know about these humans that our intelligence reports missed. Vexthar activated the display system. Images of the war appeared in the air. In just 3 months, the humans have done what no species has ever done before, he said. They have learned how our technology works. They have found its weaknesses, and they have started to use it against us. He showed footage of a human engineer named Patricia Wilson. She was working on a captured Imperial shield generator. In just 2 weeks, she had figured out how it worked. Now human ships had shields almost as strong as Imperial ones. This woman is not special among humans, said Vexthar. There are many like her. They share information freely in war. They cooperate in ways we never expected. He showed another video. This one showed Captain William Garcia and a small team of soldiers. They had captured an entire Imperial cruiser by crawling through maintenance tunnels that the aliens thought were too small for any useful creature to use. They are smaller than us, said Vexthar. But they use this to their advantage. They go where we cannot. They hide in places we do not think to look. The council was silent now. They were beginning to understand the problem. But the most concerning thing is this, continued Vexthar. He showed images of Mars and Europa, 2 places where humans had built colonies. The Empire had bombed these places at the start of the war. They thought everyone there had died. We were wrong, said Vexthar. The humans went underground. They built shelters we did not detect. And now they attack our supply ships from bases we thought were destroyed. Chancellor Morax stood up. His anger was replaced by worry. What do you suggest, General? Should we send more ships? More soldiers? Vexthar shook his head. More ships will not solve this problem. The humans do not fight as we do. When we destroy their cities, they do not surrender. They hide. They rebuild. They come back stronger. There is something else you should know, said Vexthar. The humans have made contact with the Fresians, the Talari, and the Mendax. This news shocked the council. These 3 species had always stayed neutral in galactic politics. Why would they talk to humans? Asked Ambassador Zairi. What could humans offer them? Hope, said Vexithar simply. The humans have shown that our empire is not invincible. That has given hope to species that feared us before. He showed intercepted communications. The 3 neutral species had begun to send supplies and even weapons to Earth. They were impressed by human resistance. They wanted the humans to succeed. The foundation of our empire is cracking, said Vexthar. For 1,000 years we have ruled through fear. Species joined us because they believed resistance was futile. Now the humans are proving that wrong. The council room was completely silent now. The members looked at each other with new understanding of the danger they faced. What do you recommend, General? Asked Morax, his voice much softer than before. Make peace, said Vexthar. Offer the humans fair terms. Recognize their independence before it's too late. Too late for what? Asked another council member. Too late for us, replied Vexthar. The humans learn quickly. They are already using our own technology against us. Give them a few more years and they might become stronger than we are. The council debated for hours. Finally, they voted. But this time, the vote was different. 10 members voted to continue the war. 7, including Morax and Zaire, voted to seek peace. It is decided, said Morax. The war continues. But General Vexthar, we are promoting you to Supreme Commander. You understand these humans better than anyone. You will lead our forces. Vexthar accepted with a heavy heart. "I will do my duty," he said. "But I warn you again, this war may not be winnable." Later, in a private room, Ambassador Zairi spoke with Vexthar. "You don't think we can win," she said. It was not a question. "No," he admitted. "I do not. The humans are too resourceful. And now that other species are helping them, they grow, stronger each day." "Then what will you do as Supreme Commander?" she asked. "I will try to find a way to end this war before our empire falls," he said. "Perhaps if I can speak directly with the human leaders." "Be careful," warned Zairi. Many on the council still believe victory is possible. They would see any peace talks as treason. "I know the risk," said Vexthar, "but the alternative is worse." On Earth, the war had changed everything. Former enemies now worked side by side. Nations shared resources and technology. A new sense of unity had emerged from the crisis. In a secret facility deep under the Rocky Mountains, a team of scientists examined a captured Imperial ship. They were learning how it worked. Soon, they would build their own. "It's amazing," said Dr. John Baker, looking at the alien engine. "Their technology is advanced, but the principles are the same. Once you understand the basics, you can figure out the rest." His colleague, Dr. Helen Davis, nodded. "And the materials they use, we can make most of these ourselves now. We've jumped forward 100 years in just 3 months." In orbit around Earth, Admiral Susan Miller stood on the bridge of a new ship. It was built with a combination of human and captured Imperial technology. It was smaller than an Imperial cruiser, but faster and more maneuverable. "Status report," she ordered. "All systems functioning at 98% efficiency," replied her second-in-command. "The new shields are holding better than expected, and the weapon systems are fully operational." Susan smiled slightly. "Good. Prepare for jump to Mars. It's time we took back our colony." The new ship, named Defiance, disappeared in a flash of light as it entered faster than light travel, a technology the humans had not had before the war. On his flagship, Supreme Commander Vexthar received troubling news. The humans had broken through Imperial lines near Mars. They had recaptured their colony and destroyed 3 Imperial ships in the process. "How did they do it?" he asked his aide. "They have a new ship type," the aide replied. "It's using a modified version of our own technology. It's smaller but very effective, and they have more being built." Vexthar looked out at the stars. "They learn so quickly," he said. "Too quickly for us to keep up." He made a decision. It was time to take a risk. He would contact the humans directly. Perhaps they would listen to reason even if his own people would not. "Prepare a secure communication channel," he ordered, "and find out who leads the human military. I need to speak with them, privately." His aide looked shocked. "Sir, the Council has not authorized direct negotiations." "I am not negotiating," said Vexthar. "I am gathering intelligence. That is within my authority as Supreme Commander." The aide nodded, though he looked unconvinced. "Yes, sir. I'll arrange it." As he waited, Vexthar thought about everything he had learned about humans in the past months. They were violent, yes, but they were also capable of great compassion. They fought fiercely to protect their own. But they could also forgive. Would they be willing to forgive the Empire for starting this war? It seemed unlikely, but he had to try. Because if this war continued, Vexthar was beginning to believe that the mighty galactic hegemony might actually lose. And if that happened, what would become of his people? Would the humans show mercy? Or would they be as cruel in victory as the Empire had often been? There was only one way to find out. He had to talk to them. He had to find a way to end this war before it was too late for everyone. Supreme Commander Vexthar knew he was taking a big risk. Contacting the humans directly without the Council's approval could be seen as treason. But he saw no other choice. This war had to end before it destroyed everything. He sent a message directly to Earth's Defense Council. "I am Supreme Commander Vexthar of the Galactic Hegemony," he said. "I wish to speak with your leaders, alone, on neutral ground." The humans were suspicious, of course. They thought it might be a trap. But after much debate, they agreed to a meeting. They would send 3 representatives to a small moon orbiting a gas giant at the edge of the solar system. Vexthar would bring only 2 guards. The location was chosen carefully. It was far from both human and Imperial fleets. If either side tried to attack, the other would have time to escape. On the day of the meeting, Vexthar arrived first. He waited in a small structure that had been built just for this purpose. He had brought only his most trusted aides, officers who had served with him for many years. "Do you think they will come?" asked one of his guards. "Yes," said Vexthar. "Humans are curious by nature, and they want this war to end as much as we do." Soon, a small human ship landed nearby. 3 people stepped out wearing spacesuits. They entered the meeting place and removed their helmets. The leader of the group was a tall man named Daniel Wright. He had gray hair and a serious face. With him were Major Laura Kent, a military officer, and Dr. Samantha Green, a scientist who studied alien biology. "Supreme Commander Vexthar," said Daniel, nodding his head slightly. "I am Daniel Wright, Chief Diplomat for Earth's Defense Council. These are my colleagues, Major Kent and Dr. Green." Vexthar nodded back. "Thank you for coming. Please, sit." They all sat around a simple table. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Vexthar broke the silence. "Your species continues to surprise us," he said. "Our best military minds predicted you would surrender within days. Yet here we are, 3 months later, and you grow stronger every day." Major Kent looked at him with cold eyes. "You attacked us without cause. Did you expect us to just give up?" "Yes," admitted Vexthar. "That is what most species do when faced with our full military might. They calculate the cost of resistance and decide it is too high." "Humans don't think that way," said Dr. Green. "When threatened, we don't calculate. We fight. It's in our nature." Vexthar nodded. "So I have observed. You fight harder when cornered. You become more creative when challenged. It is unusual." Daniel leaned forward. "Why did you want this meeting, Commander? Are you here to offer surrender terms?" Vexthar was surprised by the question. "Our surrender? No. The Empire does not surrender." "Then what?" asked Major Kent. "Because we won't surrender either. I want to find a way to end this war," said Vexthar. "A way that allows both sides to claim victory." The humans looked at each other. They had not expected this. "Why?" asked Daniel. "Your empire has always taken what it wants. Why seek peace now?" Vexthar sighed. "Because this war is changing everything. Other species are watching. Some are helping you. The foundation of our empire, the belief that resistance is futile, is crumbling." Dr. Green studied him with curious eyes. "You're afraid of us," she said. "It wasn't a question. Not of you specifically," replied Vexthar, "but of what you represent. You adapt too quickly. You learn our technology and improve upon it. Given enough time, you might become stronger than we are." Major Kent smiled slightly. "We already are stronger in some ways. Your ships are bigger, but ours are faster. Your weapons are more powerful, but we can build more of them quickly. And our people are more willing to die for our cause than yours are." Vexthar couldn't deny this. The Empire's soldiers fought because they were ordered to. Humans fought because they believed in what they were fighting for. It made them more dangerous. "What terms would you accept for peace?" asked Vexthar. Daniel thought for a moment. "Complete withdrawal from our solar system. Recognition of Earth's independence, reparations for the damage done to our colonies." Vexthar nodded. "And what would you offer in return?" "We won't pursue your retreating ships," said Major Kent. "We won't attack your worlds. And we won't share what we've learned about your technology with other species without your permission." It was a fair offer, Vexthar thought. Better than the Empire deserved, perhaps, but there was a problem. "The Council would never agree to these terms," he said. "Many still believe we can win this war." "Then why are we here?" asked Dr. Green. "Because I believe they are wrong," said Vexthar. "And I am looking for a way to convince them. They talked for hours. Vexthar learned much about human society, their values, their history. The humans learned about the Empire, its structure, its strengths, and weaknesses. As they talked, an alarm suddenly sounded. Vexthar's aide rushed into the room. "Sir, Imperial ships are approaching. They're not responding to our signals." Daniel jumped to his feet. "You betrayed us." "No," said Vexthar. "I did not know of this. Someone must have learned of our meeting and decided to take action." The building shook as weapons fire hit nearby. "The Imperial ships were attacking the meeting place. We need to leave," said Major Kent. "Now." But as they rushed toward the exit, part of the ceiling collapsed. Debris fell, blocking the way to the human ship. "This way," said Vexthar. "We can use my ship." The humans hesitated, not sure if they could trust him. "We have no choice," said Daniel. "If we stay, we die." They followed Vexthar through the falling building. Outside, they could see Imperial fighters shooting at the human ship. It exploded in a ball of fire. "Who ordered this?" demanded Vexthar, looking at his aide. "I don't know, sir," the aide replied. "The ships don't answer our hails." They reached Vexthar's ship just as another bombardment began. As they rushed inside, a piece of debris struck Daniel in the back. He fell, badly hurt. Without hesitation, Vexthar picked up the injured human and carried him into the ship. The others followed quickly. "Get us out of here," Vexthar ordered his pilot. "Maximum speed." The ship rose quickly, dodging fire from the Imperial vessels. Once they were clear, they jumped to faster-than-light travel. In the medical bay, Dr. Green worked to save Daniel's life. The wound was serious but not fatal, thanks to quick action. Major Kent stood with Vexthar watching. "You saved his life," she said, her voice showing surprise. "Yes," said Vexthar simply. "Why?" He thought about it. "Because it was the right thing to do," he said finally. "And because he is more valuable alive than dead. He understands what I'm trying to do." Major Kent studied him. "You're not like the others in your empire, are you?" "I am old," said Vexthar. "I have seen many wars. I have learned that victory at any cost is often no victory at all." Later, when Daniel was stable, they talked again. The situation had changed. Vexthar could not return to the Empire now. He had helped the humans escape. He had saved Daniel's life. In the eyes of the Empire, he was now a traitor. "What will you do?" asked Daniel. "I will continue to seek peace," said Vexthar. "But now I must do it from outside the Empire. There are others who think as I do. Together perhaps we can change things." "We can help," offered Daniel. "Earth would welcome allies within the Empire." Vexthar nodded. "It is a strange thing," he said. "I began this journey trying to prevent a war between our people. Now I find myself allied with the very humans I warned about." Dr. Green smiled. "Life is full of surprises." "Indeed," agreed Vexthar, "and humans are the most surprising life forms I have ever encountered." As the ship headed toward Earth, Vexthar knew his life had changed forever. He could never go back to his old position. But perhaps, just perhaps, he could help build something new. A peace between humans and the Empire. A new kind of relationship, based on respect rather than fear. It would not be easy. There were many in the Empire who would resist, and not all humans would trust him. But for the first time since the war began, Vexthar felt something he had almost forgotten. Hope. And he had learned that hope was a powerful force among humans. Perhaps it could be for his people as well. 3 weeks after the failed peace meeting, the war took a decisive turn. Human forces led by Admiral Susan Miller launched a surprise attack on the main Imperial fleet staging area near Jupiter. The attack was unlike anything the Empire had seen before. Using tactics from ancient naval battles on Earth, the humans split their forces. They sent a small group of ships as bait. When the Imperial ships chased them, the main human fleet came from behind and cut off their escape. The battle lasted only hours, When it was over, 15 Imperial ships had been disabled. Only 3 had escaped. It was the biggest defeat the Empire had suffered in 500 years. But what happened next surprised everyone. Instead of destroying the disabled ships, the humans offered to rescue the crews. They sent medical teams to help the injured aliens. They treated prisoners with respect. On the Imperial capital world, the news of the defeat caused chaos. The council members argued among themselves. Some wanted to send more ships. Others wanted to use planet-destroying weapons against Earth. Still others began to think that Vexthar had been right all along. Meanwhile, Vexthar had been working with a growing group of Imperial citizens who wanted peace. Using his military access codes, he entered the Imperial archives. There he found proof that the Council had lied about the humans. They had known from the beginning that humans were not a threat. They had wanted war only to get Earth's resources. The people must know the truth, said Vexthar to his supporters. The Council started this war based on lies. He broadcast the evidence to all Imperial worlds. He also sent it to Earth. For the first time, both sides saw the full story. On Earth, people were surprised to learn that not all aliens wanted war. The news that an alien general had tried to prevent the conflict changed many minds. President Richard Brown called an emergency meeting with his advisors. This changes everything, he said. If there are aliens who want peace, we should work with them. Daniel Wright, now recovered from his injuries, agreed. Vexthar risked everything to save my life. He is proof that we can find common ground. On the Imperial capital, thousands of citizens took to the streets. They demanded an end to the war. They called for the council to resign. High Chancellor Morax was furious. "This is treason," he shouted to his loyal council members. "We cannot allow this rebellion." But Ambassador Zairi and 6 other council members stood against him. "The people have spoken," she said. "They want peace, not endless war." Morax would not listen. He ordered Imperial troops to arrest the peace protesters. But many soldiers refused. They had seen the evidence. They knew the war was based on lies. The Empire began to divide against itself. Vexthar received a message from Daniel Wright. "We are coming to the Imperial capital," it said, "with a peace delegation. Will you meet us there?" It was a dangerous plan. The hardliners on the council would try to stop them, but it was also their best chance for peace. "I will meet you," replied Vexthar, "and I will bring as many supporters as I can." The human ship landed on the Imperial capital 3 days later. It was the first time humans had set foot on an alien world. Daniel Wright led the delegation, with Major Laura Kent and Dr. Samantha Green beside him. They were met by Vexthar and a large crowd of Imperial citizens who wanted peace. Together they walked toward the council chambers. Inside, Morax and his loyal followers prepared for one last stand. "We will not surrender to humans," he declared. "The Empire has ruled for 1,000 years. We will not fall today." But when the doors opened, he was shocked to see not just the human delegation, but thousands of his own people. Citizens, soldiers, even some council members stood with the humans. Vexthar stepped forward. "The time for war is over," he said. "These humans have shown us something we had forgotten. There is strength in mercy. They could have destroyed our ships. Instead, they saved our people," Morax sneered. "They are weak. That is why they did not finish the job." Daniel Wright spoke next. "We aren't weak. We're different. On Earth, the strongest leaders are not those who destroy their enemies. The strongest are those who turn enemies into friends." The room was silent. Then Ambassador Zairi stood. "I vote to end this war," she said. "I vote for peace." One by one, other council members stood with her. In the end, only Morax and 3 others remained opposed. The vote was clear. The war would end. The peace that followed was not easy. There were many details to work out. Earth wanted guarantees that the Empire would never threaten them again. The Empire wanted promises that humans would not share Imperial technology with other species, but day by day they made progress. The 2 species began to learn from each other. Humans taught the Imperial people about cooperation and individual rights. The Empire shared its knowledge of the galaxy and its many worlds. A year after the peace was signed, Vexithar stood on a platform in the center of the Imperial capital. Beside him were Daniel Wright, Admiral Susan Miller, and the new Imperial Chancellor Zyri. Together they watched as the first joint human Imperial exploration ship prepared to launch. It would travel to distant stars, seeking new knowledge instead of conquest. "When I first warned the Council about humans," said Vexthar to his friends, "I never imagined this outcome. I feared you because you were different. Now I see that your differences are your strength." Admiral Miller smiled. "And we feared your empire because it seemed unstoppable. Now we're working together to build something better than either of us could build alone." Daniel looked at the crowd gathered to watch the launch. Humans and aliens stood side by side. Children from both species played together. "This is the real victory," he said. "Not defeating each other, but understanding each other." As the exploration ship rose into the sky, Vexthar felt a deep sense of peace. The war that he had tried to prevent had happened anyway. It had caused much suffering. But from that suffering had come a new beginning. In the years that followed, other species joined. The new alliance of humans and the former empire. The galaxy began to change. The old ways of conquest and fear gave way to cooperation and mutual respect. And when young Imperial students asked about the great change, their teachers told them the story of the old general who had tried to warn the Empire about humans. The general who had seen the truth before anyone else. That the universe was large enough for all their differences, and that sometimes the greatest wisdom was knowing when not to fight. Vexthar's warning, once ignored, became the foundation of a new age of peace. And humans, once feared as dangerous, unpredictable creatures, became known throughout the galaxy as the species that chose mercy over revenge, and turned the greatest empire in history into their strongest ally.